Hi, good evening everyone. Am I visible and audible? Right, I can see myself. Okay. Hi, Kurt. Good evening. Hello, Alicia. Hi, Noel. Perfect. Thank you for confirming. So, our 20th editorial analysis session, yes. Please have a look at the previous 19 sessions, right? As I always tell you, my aim is to bring you diverse sources and global sources, interdisciplinary sources, the kind that form a part of your cat rc passages, form the sources of your cat rc passages, right? So, in case you saw the previous editorial analysis session, do you remember what we talked about last time? I brought an excerpt from a journal, Economic and Political Weekly, and we talked about religion and governance. Yes, so Buddhism and how its principles can apply to an ideal government, an ideal state. That's what we talked about last time. So, in case you haven't seen that session, just go through it. There are 4 questions afterwards. Okay, you can attempt those questions. So, it's just like an RC passage. Okay, with the same, approximately the same word count. Okay, so on that note, let's talk about our editorial for today. Okay, so where does it come from? It comes from The Economist. Okay, the genre is zoology and it's a very important debate. So, sorry, just a second. Yeah, it's a very important debate in discussions on animals, what we are going to talk about today. Okay, and again, the kind of editorial, the kind of that I can see that okay, it can become a part of your cat rcs, right? The kind of debate that it has. Okay, another important article that I came across, that I was confused between two articles today, which one to bring to you. So there's one on Aeon that says our brain is not a computer, right? So you can go through that article also, latest on Aeon, our brain is not a computer, right? So I was confused between these two. Both contain some important ideas of philosophy, right? And therefore both are important. This one is 579 words. Okay, so your cat rc passages also range approximately, I mean, the trend so far has been this 455 to 550, 550, 560 words, right? So 579 words, this one. Good evening, Himanshi, Rakesh, Vishal. Yes, you can get in touch with me via Telegram. My ID is Nikita Sadhna Gupta. Okay, so you can find me there. Okay. All right. So, you know that we have just launched our R6 batch. So, here are some details. I think if you attended the previous sessions, you've seen this, right? So, I am taking VRC in this batch. Quant Ravi sir is taking and Apur sir is taking LRDI. Okay. All right then. Coming to our essay, our excerpt for the day. So read this, go through this, okay, and then I'll discuss this with you. I will discuss the first paragraph together. It contains the name of a philosopher whom we have talked about in another editorial. So if you remember stuff from that editorial, that could help you here slightly. Okay, slightly only. Yes, read. Read this. Hi Lokesh. Pretty simple this one. So Rene Descartes, he used to think that People possessed reason, human beings possessed the faculty of thinking, reasoning, whereas animals were merely machines made of flesh. Okay, so they didn't possess this faculty. Now, one of his followers also echoed this, right? They eat without pleasure, cry without pain, grow without knowing it. So, such a mechanistic view of animals these people had. Let's see if that is the view today as well, because see, Darwin said that okay, no, they have mental capacities that differ only in degree. They may be less than what human beings have, but it's not that their mental capacities are very different from what human beings have, right? That's what Darwin said. Let's see what we think about it today. Okay, so the second paragraph. Let me know once you finish this. Done. Okay. So, uh, now here we are talking about today's perspective, right? And this is important, okay? Because what today's scientists are saying is that they express emotions in ways, they process information in ways that are which shows that probably they have a conscious mental experience. What does this mean, consciousness or conscious mental experience? Yes, tell me, what is consciousness, what is conscious mental experience? Okay, all right. So, consciousness is being aware, correct? Right, being aware about our surroundings, right? So, basically, being perceptive of our surroundings and having the capacity to act according to that, right? So, that is consciousness. It's a very well researched idea in science, and it's also the research is also still ongoing because scientists till now have not been able to locate the exact source of human consciousness, that how is it that we are aware of our existence, of the existence of people around us, right? So so that now scientists feel, most scientists now feel that they act and behave and experience emotions, express emotions in ways that are accompanied by a conscious mental experience, right? Then we have some examples: mice, rats, parrots, humpback whales. So these are all examples to show you, right, that these animals, they basically have a conscious mental experience. So these are just examples, right? Okay. Now, we are talking about imitation here. So example here, they develop distinct ways of doing things which are passed down by imitation and example. This is an important idea. Okay. And also this one, that no animals have all the attributes of human minds, but almost all the attributes of human minds are found in some animal or the other, right? So notice what are the examples, what are the key ideas. So if you ask me here, what are the important sentences, I think I just told you that, okay, this one is important, then these are examples, then this idea that they develop distinctive ways of doing things which are passed down by imitation and example, again important, and again this one is important. So these three would be the key ideas, whereas the portion in middle are the examples. Okay, so knowing this is important when you read your RC passages as well. What is the idea, what is just a supporting example, it will help you with the questions later on. It will help you to find out the main idea of the RC, right? Okay, then let's go to the next slide. So, okay, just answering this question in the chat box. Read? Okay, perfect. Let's have a look. It is lagging, is it? It shouldn't. I am using my LAN, which is very high speed. I am very proud of it. But yeah, it's not lagging. So, okay. Thank you for confirming that. So, again, see, we have an example. Can you tell me what phenomenon is this exemplifying? This particular example, what is this an illustration of? किस चीज का example है, किस phenomenon का example है? Yes, mimicking the actions of others, right? So if you see that the previous slide also talked about imitation and example, okay, then we have this example, right? And later on, we are again reiterating this idea. We are in fact now extending this idea. We are elaborating this idea by introducing the concept of mirror neurons. So we are now taking a neurological angle, right? So it first explains, see, the author is generous. The author explains to us what mirror neurons are, right? So this is the explanation. What is contagious? What's the meaning of this word? It makes it contagious. Yes. Some diseases are contagious. That means they can spread from one person to another. No, it does not mean poisonous. It means communicable, or basically spreading from one person to the other. Okay, no. It's not toxic. Contagious simply means communicable. That, okay, for example, if I'm saying that yawning is contagious, that means if you are yawning, it will also trigger yawning behavior in me, right? Spread, absolutely. They can spread from one human being to another, right? So this is what now the author introduces to us, the concept of mirror neurons, right? Let's see what the author says further. Maybe the author will make more arguments about this, right? So this is important, that a lot of learning may require this way of linking perception to action. So basically, initially we are just perceiving, initially we are just looking at another person, okay, how they are doing it, and then we are acting. Then we are also acting in the same way, right? And it seems that in people, so may some forms of empathy. What is empathy? Yes. What is empathy? when you are able to feel another person's feelings, pain, joy, that is empathy, right? So you are able to step into their shoes. You're able to step into their shoes and feel what they are feeling, experience what they are experiencing. It's not just kindness. Nope, nope, nope. Empathy is not pity or kindness. Okay. Pity is something that you could relate to sympathy. When I sympathize with someone, अरे बेचारा देखो इसे कितना अभागा है, right? That is sympathy. Okay. Feeling pity for someone. Okay. Now empathy on the other hand is, you are going a step further. You are able to experience, second hand what they are experiencing. You're able to step into their shoes. Okay, so that is empathy. And again, see, how does that come? You observe that person first, right? You observe that person first. Let's say they are in pain, then you also feel that kind of pain, right? Emotional pain, let's say. So again, mirror neurons could be involved here, right? Observing and then feeling that same thing, right? एम्पैथी सिंपैथी में कंफ्यूजन देखो. यहाँ पे एम मतलब है कि आपने एम्बॉडी ही कर लिया, राइट? आपने उस एक स्टेप जाकर उसको बिल्कुल फील ही कर लिया, राइट? दैट इज एम्पैथी. सिंपैथी इज कि दैट लेट्स से यू लुक एट अ बेगर एंड यू फील अ मोमेंटरी sadness for that beggar, right? So you sympathize, but then you just cross, right? So there is no lasting empathy there, but yes, there's a momentary sympathy there, right? Right. Let's have a look at the last sentence, the last two sentences, in fact, again. Mirror neurons are nerve cells that fire when the sight of someone else's action triggers a matched response. Right. So, for example, let's say you observe somebody dancing and they are performing a particular dance step. Right. So, you see them perform that dance step and then you are also able to copy it. So, how does that happen? The mirror neurons in your brain fire at that very moment. So, they look at someone else's action and then they also give a matched response. They seem to be what makes yawning contagious, right? So, this is just an example here. A lot of learning may require this way of linking perception. First, you observe and comprehend to action, and then you act in the same way. And it seems that in people, so may some forms of empathy, that some forms of empathy also require this way of linking perception to action, that you observe someone, you see they are in pain, you try to comprehend their pain, and then let's say your action also, let's say you also start crying. Okay, you see someone in pain and you also start crying, so your action is triggering a matched response. All right. You need to see, no, it does not mean that you need to see a lot of examples to understand empathy. It means that you may need to that empathy may also require this way. Empathy may also require, some forms of empathy may require this way of first perceiving something, okay, and then linking it to action. Okay, first you perceive somebody in your surroundings, let's say, who is in pain, you observe them, you comprehend them, and then you also act in ways that indicate that okay, you're feeling their pain, you're feeling their joy, sorrow, etc. Okay, okay, perfect. You've understood this, and this Billy was an example, an important example to introduce the idea of mirror neurons. Let's see what the author has to say about mirror neurons. Read this at ease, but understand what is being said. Okay? Yeah, go. All right. So, three of you have said done. I'm assuming that the others have also read. Yes, we'll discuss the meaning of, in fact, we'll discuss this whole paragraph. So, this is the part that is slightly technical in this passage, yes, in this editorial. Now, here, I didn't read this verbatim, I didn't read it word by word with you because so far it was completely comprehensible, just some bits here and there were tricky. So, now let's read this bit together, okay? It says that mirror neurons are important to scientists attempting to find the basis of the way the human mind works, right? So, if scientists are attempting to find what is the rationale behind it, okay, so mirror neurons are important to them. So, these could be one of the bases, right? Or at least to find correlates of that working. Correlates means like, okay, so this is just my humble attempt at drawing the human brain, right? So let's say this is the human brain, this is the front part, it's called the prefrontal cortex, right? Now, uh, this is associated with planning or let's say decision making. This is associated with planning and decision making. Now, if let's say I see that every time a person observes somebody making decisions, okay, and subsequently makes similar decisions, let's say, then some neurons here get triggered, right? Some neurons here get triggered. So, how does that help me? I saw that mirror neurons were being triggered in the prefrontal cortex when a person made decisions after observing someone. Okay, perhaps after watching a simulation, after watching some people make some decisions. So, these mirror neurons then helped me find which part of the brain is responsible for which behavior or function. Do you see this? A person saw another person making some decisions and then they also made some decisions. So, scientists found out that neurons in the front part of the brain got activated when this person made decisions. Most likely these are mirror neurons because ऑब्जर्वेशन के बाद जब एक्शन लिया तो ट्रिगर हो रहे हैं, सिमिलर एक्शन लिया तो ठीक है. तो अब इससे क्या पता चला साइंटिस्ट को कि कौन सी रीजन में कोरिलेट्स हियर मीन्स विच फिजिकल स्ट्रक्चर फिजिकल पार्ट ऑफ द ब्रेन is responsible for, let's say, taking decisions here. So, mirror neurons are important to find these physical substructures in the brain, the parts of the brain that can explain to them the working of the brain. That's the meaning of this sentence. The fact that those anatomical correlates, anatomy you understand, are the organs, the structure of those organs, right? The fact that those anatomical correlates keep turning up in non-human brains too. So, it's not like human brain has some regions that are very special when let's say they do any cognitive function. No, such correlates, such structures, they keep appearing in animals too, non-human brains too, right? This is one of the current reasons for seeing animals as also being things, as also being things with minds. Okay, so those structures that are present in human brain and are responsible for various functions, for various behaviors are also present in animals. ये मीनिंग है इस पूरे कहानी का, ठीक है? All right. So, should we see brain anatomy or learn basic to understand this better? Not necessary, Ajay. ये तो मुझे याद था ऑफ द टॉप ऑफ माई माइंड कि प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स होता है, तो मैंने एज एन एग्जाम्पल टू एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू मैंने बता दिया, राइट? सो इफ इनफैक्ट इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस बेटर, सो I remember reading a passage about mirror neurons. Okay, so that actually helped me here when I picked up this article. I already knew about mirror neurons. So just read widely, okay, and you will come across neurological genre automatically, okay, when you read widely. In fact, that's why I suggested this article from Aeon, Our Brain is Not a Computer. Okay, there also you'll come across a lot of neurological things, and that's why I suggested it in the beginning. Okay, so I hope this bit is clear. Now, the author now expands the discussion. कि खाली mirror neurons ही नहीं है. See, they could be just one of the bases to find the way the human mind works. There are other things also. So there are mirror neurons, there are spindle cells, also called von Economo neurons, perhaps after some person who named them, which play a role in the expression of empathy and the processing of social information. Okay, so these are spindle cells that actually play a role in the expression of empathy. We talked about empathy, right, in the previous lot as well. So yeah, so a lot of empathy may also require this, going from perception to action. So these cells, they play a role in the expression of empathy. Express भी तो करना पड़ेगा ना आपको एक बार feel करने के बाद. And the processing of social information. Chimpanzee brains have parts corresponding to Broca's area and Wernicke's area. Now, I have no idea what this is, right? I just know from my inferential skills that these are parts of the human brain, areas in the human brain, and that's enough. Okay. So, chimpanzee brains have parts corresponding to Broca's area and Wernicke's area, which in people are associated with language and communication. So, what is this paragraph now doing? It is telling you about various, uh, neurons, various parts of the brain, various cells in the brain that exist in humans, but are also their corresponding features, their corresponding correlates, okay, structures are also found in non-human brains, in animal brains. So, brain mapping reveals that the neurological processes underlying what look like emotions in rats are similar to those behind what clearly are emotions in humans. So, not just neurological structures, Broca's area, Wernicke's area, spindle cells, neurons. So, not just structures, but also processes. Okay, they seem to be similar, right? The processes, brain processes in humans and non humans, animals. As a group of neuroscientists seeking to sum the field up, put it in 2012. Okay, now something that is stated in quotes and something that is claiming to sum things up is always going to be important. So, if I come across this structure in the exam, okay, to sum this up and something in quotes, I'll be reading this slowly and carefully, right? Humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates. So, substrate, somebody stated, yes, they are layers. Okay. Now, here also I'm talking about the layers that exist in the brain, the structures that exist in the brain. So, humans are not unique in possessing the neurological layers, substrates that generate consciousness. Non-human animals, including all mammals and birds and many other creatures, mammals, birds, many other creatures, also possess these neurological substrates, ये वाले layers, right? Animals में भी present हैं, humans unique नहीं हैं इनको possess करने में. ठीक है? So this is the bit that was slightly technical, but as I told you, you do not need to know their precise meanings. You just have to infer these are regions in the brain that are responsible for language and communication. Okay, I don't even know precisely what spindle cells are, right? And that's okay. All right. If you are interested in the field, of course, you can increase your knowledge after reading the editorial, after reading the RC passage. Outside the test, outside the exam, go ahead, Google. Increase your knowledge. But during the exam, don't let this hinder you, inhibit you. ठीक है, चलो बहुत सारा ज्ञान दे दिया मैंने, अब इतना ही था ये एडिटोरियल. लेट्स अटेम्प्ट सम क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन दिस, राइट? एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनीथिंग दैट इज नॉट क्लियर, यू कैन आस्क मी. Broca's area, that, and then his wordings. Even then we have to pay attention to the words in just a second. Broca's area. If it says that Broca says that, okay, so somebody's quotes, see, usually I would quote someone when, let's say, I feel what they said is important, their opinion, let's say this person gave an opinion that I think is important, that will help me support something that I am saying. That's when I will quote somebody, no? Or let's say I feel this person is an expert in the field, this person is an authority. So yes, these double inverted commas, usually they contain important information. Now see here also, to put money on mirror neurons. So this, now here the author has quoted them to indicate that this is what these neurons are usually called in popular culture. Maybe वैसे कुछ और name होगा उनका scientifically, but popular culture में इनको हम mirror neurons बोलते हैं. So that's why the author has highlighted this. So these double quotes serve multiple purposes. So here I am just talking about this, that okay, this is what we call the activity in popular culture, tail walking. Sometimes the author does this to express sarcasm. So sometimes it's, let's say, giving the popular name of something. Sometimes it's for sarcasm. Sometimes it's simply to quote something. Okay, sometimes it is used to indicate that, see, this is not my comment, I am distancing myself from this. Okay, so that's also a strategy that newspapers use. You know, they'll just quote another person. This serves dual purposes. Okay, fine, हमने उसने बोला है, हमने नहीं बोला, राइट? और बात शायद ये पॉपुलर हो रही है, इंपॉर्टेंट हो रही है, इसलिए हम लिख रहे हैं, राइट? सो कोट्स, यस, दे आर यूजुअली इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है? ओके. Ma'am, I'm going to know, is basic to advanced? Yes, basic to advanced, Anupam. We'll have a lot of RC sessions, okay, एंड मतलब बहुत सारे सेशंस लेते हैं हम आरसी पे, ठीक है? क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के बहुत सारे सेशंस होते हैं. सो बेसिक से ही स्टार्ट करते हैं हम. क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग इज द बेसिक, राइट, ऑफ योर आरसी पैसेजेस एज वेल. सो यस. ओके. So now, which of the following, if true, is likely to strengthen René Descartes' argument? So याद है René Descartes की argument? क्या बोला था उसने? So now see, in case you remember it very well, right? In case in the exam you do not remember the precise argument, there is no shame in going back and rereading it, okay? This is accuracy ensured. I always say this. So René Descartes said this, that people were creatures of reason linked to the mind of God, while animals were merely machines made of flesh. Living robots, which, in the words of Nicholas Malebranche, one of his followers, eat without pleasure, cry without pain, grow without knowing it. They desire nothing, fear nothing, know nothing. Right? So, these were the arguments of René Descartes and his follower. Right? Now you have to strengthen it. इस चीज़ को सपोर्ट करना है, स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है. बताओ क्या आंसर होना चाहिए? I've got A, I've got B. What else? C, B. Okay, Azan, I've answered your query in the chat box. So A, B, C, all right. B, okay. All right. What is vestigial? Vestigial. Vestige. In a general sense, in a very general sense, this noun means the remaining part of something, the remains of something. Those are the vestiges of something, right? The remains of something. Now, vestigial organs is a biological term. So those organs that currently do not serve any purpose in our body, they have an evolutionary purpose. That means at some point in the evolution उनका कुछ purpose था हमारी body में, अब नहीं है. Like these folds that are there in our eyes, these folds, they don't have any purpose. They are vestigial organs. Our appendix, it really does not have any purpose except giving us pain if we suffer from appendicitis, right? So appendix vestigial organ है, ये वाले folds vestigial organ है. That is the meaning of vestigial. अब हमें रेने डेकार्टिस के आर्ग्यूमेंट को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना है, राइट? सो इफ लेट्स से यू गिव मी द आंसर एज बी, merely showing the ability to develop a language and communication is not enough to show that animals are creatures of reason. That is okay, slightly strengthening it. So I'm saying that it is not enough. It is not enough, right? So in a way, I'm saying that it may partially show this, but we need more proof. यही मीनिंग है ना इसका, कि we need more proof. Partially it may show it, right? But we need more proof. Partially it may show this. Okay. So we have to compare various options here. Now, so it can slightly strengthen René Descartes' argument. Now, C says animals solving complex puzzles activate brain areas similar to those used by humans in conscious reasoning and decision making. Right? Okay, is there a lag? Nervous कर देते हो आप लोग तो. एक minute, let me just check. Just a second, okay, give me a second. If there is one, let me just sort this. Okay, just sorting this. In case there is a lag for some people, I am ensuring that the speed becomes even higher, right? Okay, so yes, we were here. I told you that this may slightly strengthen René Descartes' argument because I am saying कि हमें और proof की ज़रूरत है. ठीक है? C says animals solving complex puzzles activate brain areas similar to those used by humans. Similar to those used by humans in conscious reasoning and decision making. Why have you marked C? Yes, those of you who have chosen C, why? Is this strengthening Descartes' argument? बताओ, ये strengthen करेगा Descartes के argument को कि animals तो machines है? ये weaken करेगा, absolutely. This will weaken it. Okay? So no. C cannot be the answer. D. Even animals with mirror neurons consistently fail tasks that require understanding others' beliefs, thus lacking full-fledged perspective taking. पर्सपेक्टिव टेकिंग मतलब कि उनमें फुल फ्लेजेड एबिलिटी नहीं होती किसी का पर्सपेक्टिव समझने के लिए. सो अगेन इट्स ट्राइंग टू शो दैट दे आर डूइंग सम थिंग्स बट दे आर नॉट एबल टू डू लेट्स से सम अदर थिंग्स. कुछ चीज़ें तो कर पा रहे हैं, ठीक है, पर कुछ टास्क अभी भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. So again, B and D are of a similar nature. They are trying to show, okay, they are able perhaps to do some things, but not everything that human beings can do. But this will only slightly strengthen Descartes' argument. If you look at A, which is the answer, ये तो simply बोल रही है कि जो anatomical correlates हैं of the workings of human brain that are found in non-human brains. मतलब हमने बोला था ना कि जैसे जो regions humans में exist करती हैं, right? जो कि उनके ब्रेन में रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं ऑफ डूइंग वेरियस फंक्शंस ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस, राइट, तो वो एनिमल्स में भी मिल रही है. यही साइंटिस्ट की आर्ग्यूमेंट ये थी, ठीक है. ह्यूमंस यूनिक नहीं है इन पोजेसिंग द न्यूरोलॉजिकल सबस्ट्रेट्स दैट जनरेट कॉन्शियसनेस, इन पोजेसिंग दोज रीजन्स, न्यूरोलॉजिकल रीजन्स, दोज न्यूरोलॉजिकल दैट प्रोड्यूस दोज बिहेवियर्स, राइट. बट अगर मैंने बोल दिया कि ठीक है नॉन ह्यूमन ब्रेन्स में भी हैं वो रीजन्स, पर वो कुछ काम नहीं कर रही हैं, अब वो बस वेस्टिजियल है नेचर में, तो इसका मतलब तो मैंने बोल ही दिया ना कि फिर उनमें तो वो काम नहीं कर रही हैं, उनमें तो वो नहीं प्रोड्यूस कर रही हैं कॉन्शियसनेस. सो व्हाट शुड बी द आंसर देन? द आंसर इज ए. ओके, वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन. ओके, yes, you are provided questions. Vestigial means something that is present but of no use. Yes, absolutely Azan. So I hope this is clear to everybody. Question number 1. Any query, please ask. I just realized मैंने LAN connect करा हुआ था पर मैं उसको on करना भूल गई थी. So I was operating on my Wi-Fi earlier. I am sorry for that. I was overconfident. Right? So first I'm hoping सबको clear है. ठीक है? Y is the answer. If it's not clear, you can ask me. Otherwise, let's proceed to question number 2. Which of the following statements can be inferred from the passage? So 4 statements are given to you. Tell me which of the options here is correct. Which can be inferred? Okay, yes. Inferred means something that you can conclude based on what the passage says, based on the information given in the passage. Sure, Azan. Okay, so I've got A. What does so I A? I didn't get you, Chahat. All right, so you feel 1, 2, and 3 they can be inferred. Now, see again, see, you are free to go back to the passage, right? Again, do not think मुझे सब कुछ याद है, मुझे जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. See, if it's a direct question, usually it's possible that you remember the details and you mark it. But in an inference question, again, if you feel that you're not sure, क्या करना चाहिए हमें? वापस जाना चाहिए, right? To infer something is basically उसके basis पर आप एक conclusion derive कर रहे हो, ठीक है? आप कुछ डिसीजन, इट कैन बी इन द नेचर ऑफ अ डिसीजन, इट कैन बी इन द नेचर ऑफ एन ओपिनियन, ठीक है? पर वो किस पे बेस्ड होना चाहिए? आपके पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस पे नहीं, आपकी एक्सटर्नल नॉलेज पे नहीं. इट शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट इज गिवन इन द पैसेज. कि पैसेज के बेसिस पर क्या या तो ट्रू है या फिर क्लोजेस्ट टू द आइडिया दैट द पैसेज इज गिविंग मी, दैट इज एन इन्फ्लुएंस. ठीक है? तो I have got a lot of A's. I have also got C. Okay, so second, third and fourth. ठीक है, तो अब जाते हैं पैसेज पर और ये वाला चेक करते हैं. ठीक है? If the author's opinion is repeated, yes, that will be the answer. So it's a good question, Kar. Sometimes we feel that whatever is stated in the passage, if it is restated here, अगर मैंने वो statement ऐसे ही उठा के लिख दी, तो फिर तो वो inference नहीं होनी चाहिए. लॉजिकली आई अंडरस्टैंड वॉट यू आर सेइंग, बट कैट में उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं एज एन इन्फ्रेंस. तो अगर मैं कुछ एग्जैक्टली उठा के रिपीट भी कर दूँ, दैट कैन बी इन्फर्ड फ्रॉम द पैसेज. ओके, सो इस वाले पार्ट पे जाते हैं. ठीक है, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो अब ये क्या बोल रहा है? देर इज नाउ अ कंसेंसस अमंग मोस्ट साइंटिस्ट. सी, इट हैज़ अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सट्रीम वर्ड्स, तो ये वेरीफाई करना ज़रूरी है, राइट? देर इज नाउ अ कंसेंसस, that means complete agreement among most scientists, that some animals exhibit most of the attributes, characteristic of human minds. Some animals exhibit most of the attributes. ऐसे कुछ animals हैं जो most of the attributes show करते हैं जो humans show करते हैं. ऐसा कहा है, देखते हैं. So, see this. It says no animals have all the attributes of human minds. ऐसा कोई भी animal नहीं है जिसके पास सारे attributes हों. But almost all the attributes of human minds are found in some animal or other. So let's say ये animal 1 है, 2 है, 3 है, 4 है, 5 है. ठीक है? तो मिलाकर इन सब में almost all attributes of human minds मिल जाएंगे, right? Almost all the attributes of human minds are found in some animal or other. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कुछ animals ऐसे हैं जिनमें most of the attributes of human minds present हैं. No, इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर आप सारे animals को देखोगे तो सबको मिलाकर किसी ना किसी में, मतलब कुछ कोई ना कोई एक attribute किसी ना किसी में present होता है, तो सबको मिला के जो भी attributes हैं humans में almost all मिल जाएंगे आपको. इसका मतलब समझ में आया? Yes. Almost all the attributes of human minds are found in some animal or other. तो जैसे एनिमल A1 में हमें दो एट्रीब्यूट्स मिल गए, इसमें एक ही मिला, इसमें 3 मिल गए, तो सबको मिला के मोस्ट ऑफ द एट्रीब्यूट्स बन जाएंगे. तो इसलिए आंसर नहीं होना चाहिए 1. ओके, 1 इज डिस्टॉर्टेड, हाईली डिस्टॉर्टेड इन सेइंग दैट सम एनिमल्स एग्जिबिट मोस्ट ऑफ द एट्रीब्यूट्स कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ ह्यूमन माइंड्स. नहीं. ओके, सो ये एलिमिनेट हो गया और ये भी एलिमिनेट हो गया. वी आर लेफ्ट विद नाउ बेसिकली आई हैव टू चेक 2 and 4, isn't it? So let's see fourth. Yes, fourth देखते हैं. People who rarely came in contact with animals disregarded Darwin's views on animal minds. वो लोग जो बहुत कम आए थे कॉन्टैक्ट में एनिमल्स से, उन्होंने डार्विन की जो व्यू है उसको डिसरिगार्ड कर दिया, उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया. ऐसा पैसेज में दिया है कहीं पे. डू यू रिमेंबर वेयर दिस वॉज इन द पैसेज, वेयर वी हैड अ सिमिलर डिस्कशन इन द पैसेज? Yes, in para 1. Excellent. So let's go to para 1. Para 1 simply says, it simply talks about those people who have come in everyday contact with some animals such as dogs, horses, even mice. It simply tells me something about those people who have come in contact with some animals. It does not say anything about those people who rarely came in contact with animals. Do you see the trap there? मैंने इस सेट ऑफ लोगों के बारे में कमेंट किया है, दूसरे सेट ऑफ लोगों के बारे में तो मैंने कुछ नहीं कहा. ओके, तो फिर 4 नहीं कंक्लूड कर सकते ना हम. It's only 3 that we can conclude. Does it make sense? Yes, the answer is B, Bangalore. Now let's see why we can't conclude 2 as well. Some animals are self-aware and are also conscious of their social milieu. Milieu, that's how we pronounce this word, not milieu, milieu. Okay, so basically your social environment, the organisms present in it, the culture, that is your social milieu. So tell me, can I infer this? Some animals are self-aware and are also conscious of their social milieu. Some animals are self-aware and are also conscious of their social milieu. They possess these neurological substrates that generate consciousness. They possess these neurological substrates that generate consciousness. Right? So we are saying that it is quite likely that they also possess consciousness. Passage क्या hint कर रहा है कि हाँ काफ़ी likely है कि उनके पास भी consciousness होगी, क्योंकि उनके पास ये वाले neurological structures हैं. ठीक है, उनके पास ये neurological structures हैं. उसने example भी दिया हमें whale को. Such behavior is hard to understand without imagining a mind that can appreciate what it sees and which intends to mimic the actions of others. So what does this sentence indicate? That it is quite likely that this mind has consciousness. क्योंकि बड़ा hard है इसको imagine करना, ये पूरी activity को imagine करना without such a mind. But can I be sure of it? Some animals are self-aware and are also conscious of their social milieu. I cannot be sure of it. Maybe होता ना अगर यहाँ पर, okay, या फिर are likely to be होता, then definitely this could have been inferred. But right now, nope, it cannot be inferred. समझ में आया? All right, I'm hoping this is clear. Again, if there's any query, you can ask me. Let's have a look at question 3. Which of the following, if true, would most seriously undermine the central claim of the neuroscientists quoted in the passage? तो अब एक बार देख लेते हैं, चले जाते हैं वापस, देख लेते हैं न्यूरोसाइंटिस्ट का क्या है सेंट्रल क्लेम. सो दिस इज देयर सेंट्रल क्लेम. Humans are not unique in possessing the neurological structures that generate consciousness. Non-human animals, including all mammals and birds and many other creatures, also possess these neurological substrates. Right? Okay. So I think this first sentence is, both the sentences are important, but the first one, especially this idea, not unique in possessing these structures, quite important. ठीक है? तो अब आ जाते हैं इस पे. Yes. Tell me. You have to weaken. Undermine का मतलब weaken. इस आइडिया को weaken करना है आपको, न्यूरोसाइंटिस्ट वाले. कैसे करोगे बताओ. Okay. Others? I've got two responses. Ajay and Preetikana say D. Kar says D. All right. Glory of Alpha says C. Okay. So I've got C and D so far. What about others? That's it. Just four responses out of so many students who are present. Okay. So a lot of D's I've got. Let's check. Let's have a look. So, this says that studies reveal that rats show signs of neurological activity during stress that mimic human anxiety patterns. So, if it is mimicking human anxiety patterns, is it weakening or strengthening the central claim of neuroscientists? A. Strengthen or weaken? What do you say? This is strengthening. Correct, correct. Okay. Then B says mirror neurons are also found in certain invertebrates, though these organisms show no signs of complex social behavior. Okay. So this is about mirror neurons. Did the neuroscientists say something about mirror neurons? Yes. Did the scientists say something about mirror neurons? What did they say? बताओ बताओ जल्दी से, इसमें से देख के बताओ कि साइंटिस्ट ने क्या बोला है मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के बारे में. That they are responsible for basically imitating behavior, right? And the fact that those anatomical correlates keep turning up. So basically ये बोल रहा है कि mirror neurons are important to find correlates of the working of human brain, right? सो मिरर न्यूरॉन्स एक्चुअली में आपको हेल्प करते हैं ये बताने में कि कौन सी रीजन में ब्रेन की क्या बिहेवियर रिस्पॉन्स, बेसिकली कौन सी रीजन में क्या एक्टिविटी हो रही है जिससे एक बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, ये मिरर न्यूरॉन्स बताते हैं, राइट? सो मिरर न्यूरॉन्स help us to find those correlates, right? And then I'm saying the fact that those anatomical correlates keep turning up in non-human brains too is one of the current reasons for seeing animals as also being things with minds. तो अब इसको बहुत ध्यान से समझना. मैं बोल रही हूँ कि मिरर न्यूरॉन्स से मुझे पता चलता है कि ब्रेन के कौन से रीजन जो है वो किस बिहेवियर के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, ठीक है? अब ये मिरर न्यूरॉन्स जो हैं वो एनिमल्स में भी हैं, ठीक है? तो आपको एनिमल्स में भी वैसे रीजन्स मिल रहे हैं जिससे कि वैसा बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. आपको एनिमल्स में भी वैसे रीजन्स मिल रहे हैं जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं वैसा ही बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए. समझ में आ रहा है ये कि मिरर न्यूरॉन से आपने ढूंढे ह्यूमंस में वो रीजन्स जिससे एक बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, और एनिमल्स में भी आपको वैसे ही रीजन्स मिल रहे हैं जिनसे वैसा ही बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, सिमिलर बिहेवियर प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. सो इफ I say that mirror neurons are also found in certain invertebrates. कुछ animals हैं जिनकी backbone नहीं होती, उनको invertebrates बोलते हैं, isn't it? So mirror neurons तो present हैं उनमें, though these organisms show no signs of complex social behavior. पर इस mirror neurons के होने के बाद भी उनमें कोई complex social behavior नहीं आ रहा है. That means what does this indicate? अगर उनमें कोई कॉम्प्लेक्स सोशल बिहेवियर नहीं आ रहा है, डज दैट से समथिंग अबाउट देयर कॉन्शियसनेस? डज दैट से समथिंग अबाउट देयर कॉन्शियसनेस कि उनके मिरर न्यूरॉन्स जिससे कि हमने लेट्स से रीजन्स लोकेट करी, क्या वो प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं कॉन्शियसनेस, फिर कोई कॉन्शियस बिहेवियर? बताओ बताओ. No, they are not generating consciousness. So does this then weaken the claim of neuroscientists? Neuroscientists ने कहा कि एनिमल्स में भी रीजन्स हैं और ह्यूमंस में भी रीजन्स हैं जो जनरेट कर रहे हैं कॉन्शियसनेस, ठीक है। उससे पहले उन्होंने बोला था कि मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू वो ये रीजन्स आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं। अब हमने बोला कि मिरर न्यूरॉन्स ह्यूमंस में भी हैं, ठीक है, इन्वर्टिब्रेट्स में भी हैं, पर जो इन्वर्टिब्रेट्स हैं उनमें लेट्स से मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू रीजन्स भी लोकेट हो गई, पर कोई कॉन्शियसनेस मतलब कॉम्प्लेक्स सोशल बिहेवियर कब होगा, जब आप कॉन्शियसली अवेयर हो, राइट, वो प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रहा है। सो इजंट इट वीकनिंग द क्लेम ऑफ न्यूरो साइंटिस्ट्स? डू यू गेट दिस? दिस इज कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है। या नहीं समझ में आया? इट्स ओके, इफ इट्स नॉट क्लियर इट्स ओके, यू कैन टेल मी। साइंटिस्ट ने बोला कि मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू रीजन्स पता चलती हैं जो जनरेट करती हैं कॉन्शियस बिहेवियर, ठीक है। और उन्होंने मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के थ्रू इन रीजन्स का एनिमल्स में भी पता लगाया, और उन्होंने कहा कि द फैक्ट कि ये रीजन्स हैं वहाँ पर भी और ऐसे बिहेवियर्स भी दिख रहे हैं, मतलब कि दोनों कॉन्शियस हैं, ठीक है। अब मैंने बोल दिया but we are talking about structure in the quoted. Okay, we are talking about substrates, right? We are saying that neurological substrates that generate consciousness. So humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates that generate consciousness. Okay, non-human animals also possess these neurological substrates. My point is this, हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि ऐसा नहीं है कि humans में ही ऐसे structures हैं जिनसे consciousness हो रही है, एनिमल्स में भी ऐसे स्ट्रक्चर्स प्रेजेंट हैं। पर क्या ये ज़रूरी है कि जैसे वो ह्यूमन बींग्स में दिखते हैं स्ट्रक्चरली, वो एनिमल्स में भी वैसे ही दिखेंगे? उनका शेप, उनका साइज वैसा ही होगा? यस, ये ज़रूरी तो नहीं है ना। तो डी का बेस आपने डी इसलिए मार्क किया बिकॉज वो कह रहा है कि जो रीजन्स हैं वो स्ट्रक्चरली डिफरेंट है। लेट्स से ह्यूमन बींग्स में सर्कुलर दिखती हैं तो यहाँ पर रेक्टेंगुलर है एनिमल्स में। सो व्हाट, एज लॉन्ग एज दे आर जनरेटिंग कॉन्शियसनेस, the central claim of neuroscientists still stands. The central claim is not just about structure, it is about consciousness. That's my point. But अगर उनके मिरर न्यूरॉन्स कोई ऐसा कॉम्प्लेक्स बिहेवियर, जो बिहेवियर जनरेट हो रहा है वो कॉन्शियसनेस की वजह से हो रहा है, वो जनरेट ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो वीकन हो गया आइडिया। दैट्स वाई। डू यू गेट दिस? नो, it's not just because of parrots. कर you're saying that parrots are too specific because यहाँ पे भी तो हम invertebrates की बात कर रहे हैं ना, it's also one subset of animals. So it's not because of parrots, to be honest, it's because of the fact कि structurally मतलब उनका वो दिखे चाहे differently, as long as they're producing consciousness, मतलब कि वैसे structures present हैं, उन structures का present होना ज़रूरी है, उनका same दिखना ज़रूरी नहीं है, ठीक है? Okay. C says animals trained to use tools often fail to transfer those skills. ये बस एक limitation है कि मे बी वो इतने एडवांस्ड नहीं है उनका कॉन्शियसनेस जितना ह्यूमंस का है। ये तो इनफैक्ट डार्विन ने बहुत फर्स्ट लाइन में ही बोला था दैट द मेंटल कैपेसिटीज ऑफ एनिमल्स एंड पीपल डिफर्ड ओनली इन डिग्री। मे बी एनिमल्स में कम है, पीपल में ज़्यादा है, बट मेंटल कैपेसिटीज़ हैं एनिमल्स में। ऐसा नहीं है कि उनकी बिल्कुल ही अलग टाइप की मेंटल कैपेसिटीज़ हैं, जो ह्यूमंस में हैं कुछ कुछ वो भी हैं उनमें, बट वो उतनी एडवांस नहीं है बस। तो सेम ये ऑप्शन यही शो कर रही है कि ठीक है उनमें वो स्किल्स तो हैं पर वो ट्रांसफ़र नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो इतना एडवांस नहीं है कि वो ट्रांसफ़र भी कर पाएँ, इतना अभी उनमें कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है। सो सी इज़ जस्ट अ लिमिटेशन। अब ये समझ में आया वाई बी इज़ द आंसर? दिस इज स्लाइटली कॉम्प्लिकेटेड। यस, आई विल नॉट प्रोसीड इन केस देयर इज अ कन्फ्यूजन, तो बता दो। ओके, ऑल राइट, आई होप किसी ने ज़बरदस्ती नहीं कहा है, राइट? नाउ देयर इज दिस situation that is given to you, easy question, okay? Based on the reasoning in the passage, which of the following conclusions would be most justified? Yes, eliminate and then tell me. Read the situation, eliminate and tell me. A very valid point कर। So I understand, see ऐसा नहीं है B बिल्कुल, I'm sorry, I'm just going to the previous question, ऐसा नहीं है कि B बिल्कुल ideal perfect option है, राइट? नो, बिकॉज दिस इज ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट अ सबसेट. यू आर राइट. ठीक है, तो आप कह सकते हो इसको काउंटर करने में कि ये तो एक्सेप्शन हो सकती है, राइट? मे बी बाकी सबके लिए ट्रू हो, बट हमें क्या देखना है, आउट ऑफ द ऑप्शंस कौन सा बेस्ट है. सो आउट ऑफ द ऑप्शंस कॉन्शियसनेस की बात बस इसी में हिंट हो रही है. बाकी सब या तो स्ट्रक्चर की बात कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ नॉट द आइडिया ना, कि भाई वो दिखते अलग अलग हैं. क्या वो कॉन्शियसनेस प्रोड्यूस कर पा रहे हैं, नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. न्यूरो साइंटिस्ट कह रहे हैं कि हाँ उनमें भी कॉन्शियसनेस प्रोड्यूस होती है, राइट? हिंट कर रहा है बेसिकली, इट्स वेरी लाइकली कि उनमें भी कॉन्शियसनेस प्रोड्यूस होती है. और आपने शो कर दिया कि नहीं, उनमें वो ठीक है, न्यूरॉन्स हैं उनके अंदर, पर कॉन्शियसनेस प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रही है. सो दैट्स वाई बी. राइट, आई अंडरस्टैंड ये भी सबसेट के बारे में ही है, बट आउट ऑफ द अदर्स इट्स द बेस्ट. ओके, ऑल राइट. Others, I've got Onyx's answer. What about others? Okay, Ajay says B. Others? Come on, a couple of other options. I need a couple of other answers. I need B. Okay, ठीक है. I'm satisfied. Excellent. B is the answer. So I told you this one is easy, right? Why? Okay, how can I say this is the first evidence? Yes, the species provides the first evidence. Who is saying there here that this has not happened before? Nobody is saying this in this excerpt that this has never happened before. So first evidence कैसे आ गया यहाँ पर? Okay, automatons, somebody who does things automatically without thinking. That person is an automaton, robot, right? So living robots, ये बात कही थी ना Descartes ने. So B Bangalore, it might disprove Descartes' claim that animals are mere robots, right? Culture, I don't see how this discussion can lead to culture based on our passage. No, our passage does not talk about culture as such, right? Lacks the neural complexity. How did this person, how did the examiner arrive at this conclusion? I don't know. This conclusion is not substantiated, right? In fact, this person is planning, this species is planning also. Not just, let's say, teaching, not just empathizing. It's not just social, it's also planning. So there is some conscious activity happening in the brain. So no, this cannot be concluded, right? So B Bangalore answer hai. Okay, so the neurological part of it was slightly tricky. Otherwise this passage, I would call it moderate. It's not a difficult passage. Easy to moderate level hai, difficult nahi hai. If there's anything that's not clear, you can ask me. Otherwise we'll meet for our next editorial session. Today is Monday, right? I'll meet you on Wednesday for the next editorial session at 5 p.m. on YT. Okay? All right then. This is it from my side for today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome.